Well, ladies and gentlemen, check out where we are at. It's the Red Bluff Outlaws, located in Red Bluff, California. And if you get up here to the top of the grandstands, you got an even better view of the track and just the whole inside of the building. So for anyone that's new to the channel, this is where I grew up racing outlaw karts throughout the winters of 2010. I mean, actually every year since 2010. And we run outlaw karts here, and luckily, you know, since our racetracks don't have to be so big, they can build them indoors, so we're not affected by weather. You know, we can race all year round. And in my opinion, that's why this is one of the best ways to get started into dirt racing, because you have the opportunity to race so much, at least out here on the West Coast, where it's extremely popular in Northern California and Southern Oregon. And this is the opening night of their season, and here's a nice up-close look at the racetrack. Red Bluff has been the same for years. Really flat on the bottom, almost like reverse banking, and then halfway up it starts to bank up towards the fence, and you have two distinct lanes. And we're going to be getting after it tonight in the Factory QRC number 18T. I believe this is the 6th year I've ran a kart for them. Jim Yelledge builds absolutely the nicest pieces. A big reason why I still come and race in the winter is him and the amazing program that he has. It's just really fun to be a part of. Now, although I don't know how much I'm going to be running this winter, I do have a couple of races, you know, marked for sure on the calendar, and this is one of them to kind of get the season started and then see, you know, how much I'll be able to run. Anyway, we're going to get the night underway. Probably going to have about 50 karts in my class, and it's important to qualify well here because everyone is so close in time. You know, everyone's separated by just, you know, 2-3 tenths. So got to get out here, lay down a good time. Yesterday we did get the chance to practice, kind of shake some of the bugs out. He built new karts, so it was a good opportunity for us to just get out there, get comfortable, and back in the swing of things. All right, this is points race number 1 for their winter season. Let's make it a good one. Get out there in the 18T. We just qualified here to begin our night at Red Bluff. Yesterday when we practiced, the track was really rough, and that trend has kind of carried on into today. And you know, my qualifying's always been all over the board here. Like, we race phenomenally. Come race time, I feel like we're a top 3 car. But qualifying, I've always struggled, and you know, a lot of it I felt like over time I worked on driving the car harder. And tonight, I went out there, ripped it, and my car feels really fast. But with how rough the track is, I just feel like I was bouncing so bad. Like, if I could have got through the corners smoother, is probably where I lost a little bit of time. So right now I think I'm 7th after about half the field has went. We'll probably drop down a little bit more, but the track also might start to get rougher as it's like chunking out with our cars and how much speed we have. So I'll let you know where we end up. Wish we were farther up on the board. I think we obviously have the speed. I could have ran some better laps. I just tried to go harder and harder and harder, because when you run as fast as we are, if you can get through it one time with that much speed, you're gonna jump way up, if that makes sense, just because the ruts really slow you down. Anyway, go watch the rest of qualifying, see where we're at. Well, we just finished qualifying, ended up with 41 opens here at the Red Bluff Outlaws opening night, and the 18T was 12th quick. Now, at this format, that's not a bad spot to be in, because with the 4-car invert, we're gonna start front row outside. So we got 8 laps, we gotta run in the top 2, and we got a surface that has a lot of character. Now, they might do something before the heat. If they don't, we're probably just gonna be trying to find where the smoothest lane is. Qualifying was all around the top, but if enough guys run on the bottom, it's gonna dirty the rest of the surface, and you're just gonna kind of have to go where everyone else is. And if we can get out front, we can also help by controlling the race, controlling the pace, and giving ourselves a chance to transfer directly into the A main event and potentially be in the top 6 dash to start up front in tonight's A main event. This is a very important heat race. We'll be heading out next. heat race for us. Had to work really hard for that one, but started second, ran second early, pulled a slide job on the leader, and then was able to drive around the outside of one of his counter slide jobs. Overall, I feel good with our car. It's kind of tough to judge anything because the racetrack is where it's at. They tried to smoothen it out before the heats and it really didn't do much. And it makes it just so hard to race around, guys, because obviously everybody's bouncing around everywhere. I feel like my back almost hurts after those 8 laps. It just makes the car so unpredictable. You're trying literally not to tip over. It's really hard to cross from the top to the bottom because there's a rough spot in both ends. I had good speed. I knew I was the best if I could just get out front. I should have done a better job on that first lap, but in the end, it doesn't matter. We did what we had to do, won the heat race, and now if everything works out, we should be starting up front in tonight's A main event. We will have to figure that out a little bit later, and we also have to see how the rest of these heats finish. We got a full surface rework. We were good enough to make the dash, pull the 4, so we're gonna be rolling off second row outside here for 6 laps, and that will determine the first 3 rows for tonight's 30-lap A main. Red Bluff Outlaws got this new piece of equipment, which last year at the end of the season, they really started to till the track if it got close to rubber, where in years past, if it was gonna rubber down, it kind of just was what it was. They've really been trying to prevent that, and tonight they got what you would call a full farm, where they go out, turn the surface over, try to throw some water on it, bring some grip back, so the times will probably get faster here for some of it, and then hopefully it burns back off and it's not too hard on tires is the goal that they are hoping for us racers, and it also puts on a good show for the fans, and we have a good on-track product. So you can see it definitely works, and then here in a minute they're going to throw some water on top of all this and then pack it back down and send us out there. So we're going to be strapping in here soon, probably almost have the car close to what you would run in qualifying, because that's how fast the racetrack's going to be. Hopefully this also helps it smoothen out and like I said, just gives us something good on track so we can go out there and do our job. Starting front row outside for 30 laps. Racetrack was fast there for the dash, but it's already quickly going away, and it's going to be super slick. So I think throughout this race, the surface is only going to change more. Might be a little quick early on. I think it's going to be really dirty in spots. So as a driver, got to get out there and kind of clean it off and then figure out what lane is just going to move. But luckily, being on the outside and being on the front row, I think there's a big opportunity for us to get out and control the race. At a place like Red Bluff, that's huge because there might be a lot of yellows, there might not be, there could be a lot of green flag laps. It's just kind of unpredictable, but the nice part is being out front and having that chance to be in clean air. So anyway, Factory QRC number 18T is all ready to go, and we're going to be heading out. there's nothing more disappointing at the end of a race night when you know how you could have won the race you were just in. You almost could feel it. I myself ran a good race to put myself in position and got exactly where I needed to be, and unfortunately then slipped out of my hands. And still, I think there was opportunity to get it back, but I just wasn't able to execute. So what I'm trying to say is the 18T ran second in tonight's crazy, chaotic, disastrous A main event. The race itself, and this is kind of just how the opening night is. I'm not making an excuse, but everyone was, you know, kind of just driving way above where they should have. So that A main event, we had so many yellows. We had a couple laps early and then yellow, and at one point we even went from double file restarts to only single file. They were short on time. We were about to hit curfew for this building and they were gonna have to, well, I don't even know what would happen, but in general, the word disastrous, that's the best way to describe how that A main event was going, and there was a lot behind the scenes that you don't see in the footage. I was able to stay in contention early, hang out up front, and the leader was running the top side, and it started to chunk out here up top. It made it really hard to run, especially when you didn't get up to speed, and if you made a mistake, if you hit the bottom, which was much smoother, you get down the backstretch good. And I got to the lead after many attempts of where I was at, and I thought I was gonna be okay. And sure enough, we had a couple of yellows, and that's where I don't want to use the word fell apart, but I just made two crucial mistakes on a restart, which led to a car getting to my inside, which then led to me falling back to third. Somehow I didn't crash, then they almost crashed, and then I got back to second, and that's where I finished. So that's where we came home. I thought there on that last restart, it was a green and a white, so there's one lap to go, and I just sailed it into the top of 1 and 2 where it was rough, you know, too much. I should have actually backed off, tried to be smooth, and I bounced so bad, and somehow I didn't lose any positions, and I was actually still close to the leader, which just kind of showed that if I would have, you know, just kept my head a little bit more on a swivel, I would have had a better opportunity maybe to pass them there in that last lap. So fast forward 3 days, I'm out here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm about to head to the racetrack. Crazy how fast things change and we go from one to the next. But to just to wrap up this video, it's very simple. I was frustrated. It's kind of easier now a couple days later to shake all that off. I just really hate losing races that I feel like I definitely could have won, and this would have been a great example of that. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It was still a good, consistent night. We stayed in the hunt. We did our job. We just weren't able to 100% finish it. Now also, with that being said, they did cut the race 4 laps short, which did hurt us. I think if we have those extra 4 laps, we definitely, you know, park it in victory lane. And one other thing, because I figured I might get a couple comments on it, but I did end up apologizing to that 46 car that I passed for the lead. We made contact off of 2, and how we hit sent him in a weird like direction towards the fence, and then he saved it. But I should have just been more mindful of, you know, giving a little more room there so we could race side by side, and I did not. So did apologize to him after the race. Anyway, thanks to Jimmy Elledge and Factory QRC always for the opportunity. I love racing with Jimmy, and I love racing in top-notch equipment. Doesn't matter what it is. Now, like I said, I'm out here to race the Shark Racing 1T, Charlotte, North Carolina. Should be a lot of fun. As always, I appreciate your guys' support and riding along with me for the journey. I'm sure we'll do some more kart racing this winter, but for now, we got to focus on the rest of the World of Outlaws season, finishing on a strong note, and then getting ready for 2024. Deuces.